Hey guys, I'm Noemi from Düsseldorf in Germany. I am currently 16 years old, but I'm finally turning 17 in July. This is my application video for you guys, and I actually decided to make it all about a short story that I wrote for the children of my maybe future host family. So kids, if you're watching this, in order to understand my short story, you should know what a sloth looks like, because my short story is about a sloth. So I printed you guys some photos. So this is a sloth. Hope you can see it. And this is a sloth as well. So I'll just begin with the story then. Imagine the largest and most fantastic forest, with huge trees, exotic plants, and amongst all that, the strangest inhabitants. Amid sumptuous flowers of all colors and small pools in which frogs were croaking and young deers would come to soothe their thirst, in between moss-covered tree stems and long liana lived a little sloth called Amy. Its home was a gigantic tree, so large that its crown reached to the edge of the forest on one side and deep into the darkness of the forest on the other side. Amy was a friendly little sloth. She had just finished sloth school and was eager to go out and explore the big forest. She also wanted to meet the other animals which lived around her but whom she had never met. One morning she decided to leave the tree crown that she had spent her whole life in. This was no easy task, since she was a sloth, and sloths are very slow, and the tree was very, very big. When she finally reached the ground, she headed for a small brook to refresh herself. Suddenly, she heard voices whispering. As she looked up, she discovered the other animals that had gathered at a distance. They were staring at her, and although she smiled at them, no one smiled back. A cocky lizard said, "What are you doing here? You belong in your tree, not down here." The other animals laughed, and a squirrel said, "Look at you, you can't even walk properly with those weird claws." Amy looked down to the paws with the long hooked claws and realized sadly they were not made for walking, but for swinging from branch to branch. Still, she did not want to give up and be like any other sloth. She also didn't want to stay in the same tree she had grown up in. She looked around and saw the most beautiful flowers growing all around her. She had never seen so many colors and so many different shapes, but most of all, had she never smelled such sweet scents before. She thought to herself that all the other animals living in the trees should be able to enjoy the beauty of the flowers as well. And so she started picking the flowers with the brightest colors and began to ascend a huge mammoth tree. When she reached the top, she put the flowers down on a big branch and fell asleep. When she woke up, she was surrounded by little monkeys. They were astounded as Amy smiled and handed them each a flower. They asked her what the flowers were for, and Amy explained she had discovered them on the ground and found that everyone should be able to see how beautiful flowers are. "I thought, since you don't come down there, I will bring them up to you." After that, she descended, picked more flowers, and brought them up to another tree where birds were living. They looked at her and said, "Who are you? What do you want here?" Amy just laid down the flowers and said, "I am bringing you these beautiful flowers. Aren't they stunning? And see how wonderful they smell." This went on for days. Every day, Amy would bring flowers to another tree. After a while, all the other animals talked about that strange-looking sloth which was bringing flowers to everyone. At first, they thought she must have gone crazy, but pretty soon they had to acknowledge how hard-working she was. "Look," said a little wolf, "she is so slow, and still she goes through so much trouble to bring flowers to all of us." The other families of the forest nodded. A little bat wanted to know, "So, why are you bringing flowers to all the animals of the forest?" "Because I want you to see that I'm not like all the other sloths," Amy shouted. Suddenly, the cocky lizard started to clap his hands, and all the others joined in. The applause was as loud and far-reaching that even the leaves on the highest trees seemed to clap in joy. Now, Amy was convinced that the other families in the forest would love to welcome her as their guest and also to become her friend. This was my little short story. I hope you liked it, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you soon. Bye!